Hi friends, welcome back to Arc Tutorials. This is Angular 10 full tutorial series for absolute beginners. In the previous episode, we have learned about the built-in pipes that are available in Angular. In this particular episode, we will learn about parameterizing those pipes. Some of these built-in pipes, or in general the custom pipes, can accept parameters. What are parameters? How do we pass them? What are the different built-in parameters which will accept parameters? We will learn all about that with hands-on examples in this particular tutorial. This is part 32 of the Angular 10 complete tutorial playlist. I have planned around 100 tutorials for you on Angular, including a live project which we will start very soon. So stay tuned for that. In the description box below, I'm updating the GitHub link with the notes, as well as when we start the actual project, I will upload the code as well. So make sure you check out the description box regularly. Following are the topics which I've already covered in detail, including the notes, including examples and some live use cases. So make sure you check out these tutorials so that you have continuity in your learning. If you have any doubts in these particular topics, feel free to ask me in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to help you. Today is part 32 of this particular series. Today we are learning about parameterized pipes. So what are parameterized pipes? Now these are the pipes which can accept more than one parameters. Now parameters is nothing but conditions, right? We know that pipes will take a data input, process it into a desired output, right? While doing so, there can be some conditions, right? Like what kind of data we need, for example, currency, dates, percentages, right? So these are all take various values, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show a lot of hands-on examples, but these are the ones which we have continued from previous episode, right? So in the previous episode, we have learned about built-in pipes where I created some variables, some data. We'll use the same to extend it for parameterized pipes. So make sure that you see the previous video also so that it will make sense to connect and learn better in the same context. Let's get started with the hands-on example. So just a quick recap of what we are. So we created few built-in pipes and we have some data that we have here, and this is what we are processing, right? So I'm going to use the same data now, nothing fancy here, right? So this is the data that we created for uppercase, lowercase, date, JSON, currency, and percentage, right? So what we are going to do now is go to app, our component. I'll create one more section for you so that you have a clear distinguishing between what is which. So here I will say build parameterizing pipes. Okay, all right, so let's save it. Now let's start with the first one, which is so if episode number 32, this is parameterizing pipes, right? Hold on. Pipes can accept one or more parameters, right? So what are parameters? Think of it like conditions or filters, or you can say some specific data based on which data will be transformed, right? That's the number one point. Number two, there are only few which can take. See, if you talk about lowercase, uppercase, there is nothing to really pass or transform, right? So some of the built-in pipes which accept parameters are. So first we'll see few things. So for the first one that we'll see is currency, right? And then I'll show you some more as in when we start in this. Alright, so let's take the currency example. And here we have the currency, and by default we know that it shows USD, right? Which is dollar USD. Now I'm saying how do we pass parameters? We put colon and then we will say what you want to show. So if I say USD, right? So here I'm saying process format this particular data, apply the currency pipe, and apply this parameter, which is this particular USD in this particular case. So how do you write that? You write it using semicolon, right? So you pass this value, right? So you, how do you pass the syntax? syntax for writing parameter pipes. Right, so here you have the data input, here you have the pipe name, and here you have the parameter. Right, so this is the syntax for writing your parameterized pipes. Okay, so now I'm writing currency and USD. Let's see that in action. So here now it is saying USD, right? But don't you want it to be so this is how we are writing USD. So now I want to change it to INR. So now it is saying INR, but I don't want like this. I want to put capital INR. Then see the difference. Now it is showing rupees, right? See here, right? So now it is showing INR. So if you put USD, you see the default one, which is dollar sign. If you put Canadian dollar, right, so it says CA dollar, right? So this is how you can pass parameter. So this is one of the parameter, right, which is you are passing whether it is currency, CAD, right? So those things. Now let me show you one more example. Let's say you're talking date, right? So for the date you have, we created an example, date example, right? So let's see, it says November 25 2020. I don't want it this way. We can say short. Now you see it is showing different format. Now I'll say I want long. So now it is showing the entire thing, GMT thing. Now I will say I want only MMTD YY, right? So you need to make sure that you give MMTDYY. So it is saying 11 25 20. No, I want MMM hyphen. So now it is November 25. So you see there are various parameters that date can take, right? Similarly, let's see percentage, right? So it's so much fun because you can customize really output. You don't have to do any extra effort. Just by passing pipe, you are able to change so many things. So now I'm saying I want percentage, and now I'll say I want 3-digit point, minimum should be 2, maximum should be 2, right? So now it is 67.67, right? Let's see the data. So we have percentage here, example 67.67. So here we are saying, so here it's a tricky thing, right? So let me explain that little bit. So for we saw currency, we saw date. So basically you can give any format for date like MMMDD YYYY, or you can say short format, you can say long, you can customize that MMDDYY format the way you want, right? And then we are seeing now percent. Now in percent it will take three things, right? So when you say percent, after that the first one is the maximum sorry minimum minimum number of integers, right? So which is the before the decimal numbers, right? So that's the minimum number of numbers on before decimal. The next one after point will be minimum decimal points, and the next is maximum decimal points, right? So let me show you that with an example now. So here we are saying 3 should be minimums, right? So it is showing 067, whereas our value is 67, right? So I'm saying I want minimum 3, right? On the now if I say 4, it will be 0067, right? So see, right? So before decimal, how many you want the whole numbers, the numbers before decimal. Then if you say 3, let's say 3 here, right? So it should be 067 now. Okay, 067. Now here I'm saying minimum after decimal should be 1, maximum should be 1. So now it will be, so it was 67, it rounded it off, right? That's why it has become dot 7, right? So see, this is a little tricky, so pay attention, listen to what I said again, right? And understand. See, you just have to understand this concept. How many numbers, minimum numbers before the decimal, right? Decimal point. That is your minimum number. Then dot, you will say how many minimum decimal points, right? Decimal numbers. And hyphen maximum decimal numbers. How many digits per dot you want, right? So if I'll say here 3, so it will be max 3. But if you are having value, it will show 3, right? So let me show you here. I have some more. Now it is showing 3. But now if I say I'll add a couple of more, and now I'll go here and I will say I want 4. So now you see after decimal there will be 4, right? After point there is 4. But minimum is 1, maximum is 4. Now if I make it 2, it will round off and come to the nearest one, which is 68, right? So see the value again, 67555, right? So it is 68, right? So now if I make it 611711113, right? So it is 67 because it is now lower than 5. So it is flowed, right? It is flowed, which means it has gone to the lowest, nearest lower number. If it is more than 5, it will become 68, right? So these are tricky things, so make sure you practice it well, because without practice you will not get that correctly. All right, so that was all about today's syntax that I wanted to cover for you. The built-in basically the methods that are there: currency, date, and percent. I hope it will be helpful to you. I hope all your doubts will be cleared now after this, of how to use parameterized pipes. If you have any further doubts, drop me your queries in the comment section below. I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you so much for joining. If you like my work and my tutorials, please consider buying me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/artutorials. The next episode is chaining of pipes, where we'll learn how to connect multiple pipes together. That's a very interesting concept because it will ease a lot of work on the UI side. So we'll learn all about that in the next episode. Stay tuned for that. Thank you for joining. I'll see you in the next episode.